Today I'm here to talk to you about something that old people do, because not too many people are interested in what old people do. But I challenge you to copy what old people think, because old men and women do something very interesting and valuable. They engage in self-reflection. Now I realise these 15 minutes won't be enough time for me to change your lives or push it in another direction. But I do have this short time to offer you a thought-provoking speech, which, provided I do a good job here, you will reflect upon. Now, self-reflection can be a very vague term, and for the purpose of this speech, I will use a definition I found on Wikipedia. It goes as follows. Self-reflection is the capacity of humans to exercise introspection and the willingness to learn about the fundamental nature, purpose, and essence. When was the last time you looked into the mirror? Whenever you look into the mirror, you're basically carrying out self-examination, but that's not it. If you see something you don't like, you go and change it. You might try another shirt or mess up your hair even more. So whenever we look into the mirror, our glances last a few seconds. But what I want to get into here today is a much more fundamental issue. Similarly to looking into the mirror, I want you to take a step back and observe yourself. I want you to examine what you thought, what you're thinking, and what you're going to think. What you said, what you're saying, and what you're going to say. What you've done, what you're doing, and what you're going to do. We all have busy lives. You wake up, shower, have breakfast, go to school or lectures or work or to a TED Talk. You brush your teeth before you go to the TED Talk. You get tired doing whatever you do there. You go home, you cook, you wash, you clean, you dust, you brush. And then somehow you get stuck in this autopilot mode. And you become confused, somewhat disorientated about things. You have these questions lurking at the back of your mind that you can't seem to answer. You might wonder why things are the way they are, why you don't fit in a particular group, what all of your actions are leading to. You might wonder why you do things you know you will regret doing later. Or you may even wonder whether you have what it takes to be the person you want to be. Now, these questions, they can be avoided for some time, but inevitably, they will confront you. Those moments when you have to face yourself usually occur when there's a big change or shock to your life. It's when you have to look at yourself and think about your fundamental nature, purpose, and essence. I have had one of those experiences, and I would like to talk to you about it today. On the 6th of January 2009, I returned home from a 3-day football tournament. We were being picked up at the car park in Vienna, and my dad was sitting, waiting for me in the car. He was sitting in the car because Vienna can get very cold in the winter months. So, as I got into the car, I sensed that he wasn't feeling too well. He hadn't been doing too well recently. And I remember the exact conversation we had. Now, there are two things that characterize my dad. Number one, he was an Austrian. And number two, he was a man of few but intelligent words. So the conversations we had were German and usually brief. He said, and all of you know how aggressive German can sound to non-German speakers, so I'll give you a little taste. He said, "Wie war das Turnier?" How was the tournament? Es war gut. Gut? It was good. He said, "Deinem Vater geht's nicht so gut. Your dad isn't feeling too well." I said nothing. The next day, on the 7th of January 2009, I returned back to school after my Christmas holiday. I was sitting in my last class of the day, geography, when I got a text message informing me that my dad had been admitted to hospital. So I got out of class, I took a taxi, I rushed into hospital to find my dad lying there in a bed in a room with old men. He looked frail, wires going in and coming out of his body. that was the first time that the seriousness of his condition struck me. He didn't belong there. We as a family did not belong in that hospital. I spent most of the afternoon in that hospital and only have very blurred memories of those last hours. On the 7th of January 2009, at around 8 p.m, my father passed away. It was too early for him to go, and I was much too young to say goodbye forever. I find it very difficult to describe what it feels like losing somebody that is so close to you. And I just remember thinking about life that day. Because that day I lost something that was part of me, my life, my identity. Something I so naturally assumed to be a part of me just left and was not replaced. It's a tormenting thought. And I remember that evening sitting in my living room holding his car keys in my hands. And I was just thinking. I thought about where life had led me so far. All of the people that gave me joy, the things I was proud of, the regrets I had, and of course the people I had lost. That part of my life was a harrowing experience, and I will never conclude with that chapter of my life. But I did take the opportunity to learn, to reflect upon myself. I gained a new perspective on life because I had to confront death. And through self-reflection, I have found some guiding principles that I will live by for the rest of my life. Number one, take time to talk to people. And when I say that, I don't mean the casual chat, no. I mean talking to my generation's grandparents who survived the Second World War, or people like my Nigerian friend who was fortunate enough to get a scholarship to study in the US, but arrived on campus with a small bag because that's all he had. These people have some fascinating stories to tell, things we can only imagine reading in books. And you never know how long they'll still be around to tell us their stories. Learning from these people can give us knowledge that no school or higher academic institution will ever teach you. They demonstrate invaluable lessons that help us put our lives into perspective. Stories make people and help us understand their and our circumstances. Number two, appreciate what you have. Often you'll hear people talking about their dreams, goals, and aims in life. There's so much to achieve, and everything must be done to reach that final destination, the grand, magnificent destination. But I say, if you don't enjoy getting there, if you're not truly passionate about all of the hard work that will get you there, you won't find happiness at that destination. You won't appreciate what you have. When something like death is so close to you, you begin to realize how much you have to lose. And then you recognize how glad you should be about everything you have. You could lose it anytime. Every now and then you should take the time to ask yourself one simple question. Is my life meaningful? And if the answer to that question is no, then go and change something. Get to know what is truly important to you. Nobody's life should be a sequence of wasted opportunities. Pursue your passion. It's your responsibility to give it 100%, whatever you're doing. And that leads me to my last and most important point. Leave a legacy. All of us have family members that go back for generations and generations. Just looking at what our grandparents or great-grandparents did can make some fascinating stories and offer a unique insight to understand our nature today. My dad left a legacy and instilled many important values in me. I'm a hard worker because he was. I make it a point to learn something or become better at something every single day because that's what he taught me to do. My dad had the tremendous gift to speak to a wide range of people, from famous musicians and actors to important people from the media, or simply individuals who were living on the bare minimum in council estates. I want to develop that skill too. Leaving a legacy means putting your stamp on the future. It's a way to take your past, your accomplishments, and offer them as a gift to the future. That way you can ensure that you will be remembered and that your life did matter. My goal is to leave a legacy that will last beyond my lifetime, just like my dad did. Thank you.